right. Family, shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm going to tell y'all, in ancient times when they heard them horns, they knew some major shit was about to go down. People got scared. People literally started shivering when they heard them horns. Family, them horns, I had to play them horns to start this show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's going to be the theme of this year. The theme of this year and the theme of tonight and this year, my brother Blue Pill actually coined it. I want to give a shout out to Blue Pill, and I'm calling it Fast and Sirius. Sirius with a Sirius, as in the star system, Sirius. And we're moving at quantum speed right now, family. So I want y'all to keep up, but I want y'all to keep up with the right things and the things that resonate with you. I might even put a disclaimer before every show and say, if this doesn't resonate with you, leave it alone. But take what resonates with you and move forward with it. If it don't resonate with you, leave it alone, family. There's no need to argue, bicker, waste precious energy. And we're going to talk about precious energy or currency or our real bank account during tonight's show. Unity feels so good, y'all. I'm going to tell y'all, if y'all see the lineup, Unity feels so good. And actually, family, there used to be laws against us uniting. You could call it gathering, you could call us hanging on the corner, but it's really unity. They had to make laws just so we wouldn't show unity. And another thing before we get started, I want you to research something called horizontal gene transfer. Right. And that's something big that happens when we unite. And shout out to Inky. You know, Inky goes around, he talks shit about everybody, but shout out to Inky. That was the first brother that I heard use that phrase. So shout out to Inky for that. He called me about early this year, but shout out to him for introducing the community and a lot of people to that phrase. Brother Panic talked about it in the book also. But look up horizontal gene transfer. And with that being said, I want to take this time to welcome to the historic show tonight. In 2 minutes, we got almost 2,000 people in 2 minutes. Wow. Let me give you the lineup. Blue Pillar 44, the 44 God. Sharif Bey. Sistar Myrah Morse, the Oracle. Bdell1014. Yes. Cambada. Dr. Phil Valentine, the godfather of the conscious community. Billy Carson, a.k.a. Forbidden Knowledge. And Doctah. Be Sirius. All of y'all, welcome to the platform. Welcome. Y'all been some of the most consistent people on my platform. I want to thank y'all for coming on tonight. We're gonna have a great show. There's actually something that I want to introduce to the audience that we have coming up, and everybody on this panel is going to be a part of. It's something different. I feel as though because there's a paradigm shift, there has to be a shift in our approach with information, so that the information I want to, this is what I want to do, y'all. Sometime, and I said this years ago on my show. Sometime I could go to sleep at night, right? I ain't do this lately since me and my lady had kids. You know, it shit get crazy with you guys. But me and my lady, we used to go to sleep holding each other. You ever seen them skeletons of the people holding each other, and they died holding each other, and the skeletons were still there. I want to feel like that with my information. I want my book. Because you know what we do? You know how we feel like that? We go to sleep with our phone in our hand like this. Our phone be in all types of directions because we have an intimate relationship with this device. Very intimate, very visceral, very emotional. I want us to have that with these books. I want us to have that. Shout out to Greg Braden. This is his book. I want us to have that relationship with these books. So we're reintroducing something that has not been done for a long time in our community. Yes. And we're doing that at the non-Ether God Fest. This is a non-Ether year. This is a number 9 year. Me and Billy just did a show on Mars and the number 9, and you can talk to King Simon about the number 9 and what it represents and completion and all that. It's a lot of good things with the number 9. A lot of good things happening. That's why a lot of bad things are happening. Let me say that again. A lot of good things are happening, so that's why a lot of bad things are happening. But don't get it twisted. Don't get confused, family. I'm gonna talk about the event in a little while, but just to start out with y'all, I got such an amazing cast. How y'all doing? energetically. I want to ask y'all before we start, and we are all different angles of lights. Energetically, what I'm talking about, to have a more personal. I talked about going to sleep with my lady holding us, hugging her. Right. And I talked about how we hug this phone, sleep like some niggas don't want their girl to have the password, so they be clutching it with 2 hands. So I want to know, how can we clutch these books, this information, this knowledge? I want us to clutch it in our heart the same way we clutch this phone, and just give a brief summary of what y'all think we could do something small moving forward. And I'm gonna end it with this. Family, because I say all of that to say this. Our emotions have a direct influence on our DNA. It has been done in experiments. Our DNA has a direct influence on photons. Photons is the small particles that make up the world, meaning our emotions have an impact on the thing that has an impact that changes the world. This is why they want control of our emotions so bad. Loose, all that other fancy things you want to call it. With that said, I'm excited as you. Come on, who wouldn't be excited? Look what's going. Who wouldn't be excited? I can jump up and down. Let's get this thing started. Listen to what I said.
Deep breath, Rich. Deep breath, Rich. Deep breath.
Who's side? All right, talk to me, y'all. Something small we could do moving forward energetically, to have a more personal, energetic, emotional relationship with the information that's being shared to us, because that's how we ultimately communicate with that radio station called Divine Source, or whatever you want to call it. Talk to me, family, real quick.
The active principle of actually taking the information and embodying it, finding out if it's really what you're teaching, so you could teach it from a place of authenticity, to say, I actually did that, and I'm the living, breathing example of it. It's not something that I just read. We have to get past the point of, regurgitation to a place of demonstration. And once you activate these principles that you study for so long, then with the authority, you could tell a person that it works, because, we're self-healers and we're helpers outwardly. You know what I'm saying? I cannot go inside of a person's body and do the work for them. I can direct you to it, show you what needs to be done, reinforce what needs to be done, cast a new spell and broke an old one. But you got to do the work. You feel me? If I can embody the work and show you that I've done it myself, I went to the mountaintop, you know what I'm saying, got the bucket and came back down and said, you can go up there and do it yourself as well. You feel me? Rather than just being at the base of the mountain and being mesmerized by my story, I'm storytelling to compel you to feel it enough to say, I want that feeling for myself, not to just feel good that I did it.
Thank you, my brother. Who want to go next?
I'll go next. I mean, first of all, I give honor to what Brother Blue Pill just said. And I would say something very similar. In the book of Revelations, there's an analogy given saying,
yes,
eat the book, right?
Yeah.
The Revelator, John the Revelator, was given a book.
He eats it.
By an angel, was told to eat it. Said,
wow.
It would taste sweet as honey, but in his stomach, it'll be bitter. So in other words, it's going to sound good to you, but when it's time to live it, you're going to feel the responsibility of it. You see what I'm saying? So
powerful.
Eating the book, for me personally, I love what Brother Blue Pill just said. For me, it's like we have a practice in our community where we read the principles, we read the info, and then we start the process by making the information or the principles that we read part of our everyday language with each other.
Right.
We practice it this way. And when the principles become part of your everyday language, it then downloads into how you're thinking and then what you do. So then it becomes your actually living the principles, and then you see the product. So we don't call the literature the lessons. We call the literature the instructions. But when you live it out, the result you get is the lesson.
Excellent.
Like that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I guess I'll go next.
Okay.
And it's interesting that you're talking about our emotions and what we're feeling. Excuse me, because we're in the energy of Capricorn. You know me, I'm going to come from.
Oh yeah, love it. Come on, Myra.
And We're in the energy of Capricorn, which the opposite sign, and I call myself a holistic. I don't talk about one sign without its opposite, because balance is the key to everything.
Yes.
So if we're in Capricorn, the opposite sign of Capricorn is Cancer. Cancer is walking emotions. Their emotions personified. They get their feelings hurt if the mailman don't leave them mail. Nobody loves me, so they personify emotions. So what you're doing when you're in one sign, you're actually fulfilling the energy of the opposite sign. So that's why we're so deeply getting into the emotions and the feelings, you see, because it's opposite the Capricorn, which is, more about practicability, being more stable, and, being more down to earth. So the emotions is what's going to be highlighted now, because it's the opposite sign of Capricorn. And that is why this inspiration is coming at this time to get into our feelings, you see. And then the number 9, of course, like you said, the 9-year, even the Super Bowl is going to be on the 9th. And, I always tell you guys, this is a Super Bowl where Asar puts on his resurrection. He puts his 14th piece, his penis, where we're going to see a collective resurrection of power. You see that it's now time to fulfill that. You see. I'm looking for big things, and definitely going straight to the heart, going straight to our feelings, and that's the internal. So that's what we're looking at here, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to energy.
Excellent.
Both sides.
Excellent. Bdell, you next, my brother?
Yes. Within the factions of Western civilizations, when you're talking about emotions, everything that they perpetuate, it basically dematerializes our emotions, because they supplicate it and turn it into a weakness. So that basically destabilizes your authenticity, because you're operating from a place of fear, which basically puts an encryption over your anatomy and your thinking process to where you cannot think outside the box. Now, they just came out with many different publications and documentations talking about the CIA, how they study the holonomic brain theory to where you don't think outside that encryption. It's an energetic grid over the brain that also works in tandem with, the space-time continuum within the factions of the firmament. That coincides with, the super chiasmatic nucleus that connects to the cosmic clock. So like I said, it's all about the reset. So you got to use your emotions as a navigation system to get through this time period and this timeline. So that's, the apex on how you connect with your higher self. It's all about authenticity, just like Blue said.
Indeed. Hey, before Cambada go, don't Bdell sound like a young Phil Valentine with the words he used? You hear his words, his verbiage?
I was sitting there Phil gotta be
that's a young Phil Valentine right there.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. I watched a lot of Dr. Phil's lectures. I remember he said that I'm a Libra, so I'm a wordologist. So I'm a Libra as well, so I resonate with that same energy.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, that's what's up. Cambada, go ahead, my brother.
Yo, you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this question was actually a little difficult for me to wrap my head around. I guess because I don't think lately I haven't been doing much thinking. I've just been kind of sticking to the ritual, the routine, and kind of getting through the reps without thinking.
Right.
But I would say since 2020, since I turned 33, I've just been in a state of I guess confusion amongst having kids, but I guess me as a man going from being just me to being a father, and then when I was just me, I capstoned it when I was 33 and I dropped LSD, my album, and since then I felt lost. I felt detached, especially from music and art and the world. I felt that moment. I guess I had that moment where I remember when I was a kid, and I always would feel like my parents or my elders were kind of detached from the hip hop, or the music or the movies or the style. And I would always wonder, when would that happen to me? And it's not a phenomenon. It's actually something that happens, a maturation. I guess through our 20s and our childhood, we're kind of experiencing and taking notes. So that way, when we become that man, we know what we like, we need, we want. And I guess I just realized that certain things weren't for me, and it was hard to come to grips with. And I'm just getting to the point where I feel good because I guess the advice I would say is don't be afraid to start from scratch. It's kind of a cheat code. Like when one of the things is when you're lost and confused, you just start from square one again.
Mm-hmm.
And I always said this in my mind. I was like, as an artist, there's always going to be some 18-year-old that just started today that has all the energy in the world and he really wants it. The same day that I'm here right now, there's a kid who just started doing what I'm doing, and he's excited about it. And all the shit that even me being right here, there's people that would die for this moment, where this might just be casual for me. So I guess right now I'm in the mindset of saying, hold on, if I just started doing music today, I mean, now I have the knowledge of knowing how to play the game. It's a cheat code. Imagine if when you started producing, you were as good as you are right now.
Yeah.
But it's only a mindset. It's only a mindset. Like, so for me, like the mindset is, oh my God, I just started. And I guess that right there kind of really like helps me like, oh shit, I have an option.
Yo, I love the honesty of Trey. He talks like a baby almost. I love the honesty, not in a bad way, but the honesty and the transparency in which you talk is not like you're trying to impress somebody. You're talking from your soul, and that's what we're gonna do at the Godfest. The God, you can't, and that's what makes your music so good. You're talking from your soul, no matter how ratchet or bad or whatever it seems. You just talk from your soul, bro. We love that shit, brother. Keep doing what you do.
Yo, that was dope. That's strength. To be that purposefully innocent. That's strength. I love it.
Purposefully innocent. I like that one. Dr. Valentine, go ahead, my brother. We gonna keep it moving. Go ahead, Doc.
Wow, I feel very privileged to be amongst such an august body.
Yeah.
Thank you for your invitation. That horn that you began the show with, Rich,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you understand, but it's been playing around the planet for the last 5 years.
No, I swear, I did not know that. I swear I did not know that.
Yeah, over in Russia, you start hearing this. People are wondering where that sound is coming from.
Did not know that.
Yeah, there was a change in resonance in the planetary atmosphere, and that was what the horn that the Hebrews and the so-called Eudos used to blow that horn in order to get attention, because that was the horn that allegedly the Most High blew as new dispensation of consciousness would be coming in. So we were being warned already for the last 5 years with all this sound of a horn that was driving people crazy. Not only that, you're in the 9th year, which essentially is in the year of what we call the cosmic fetus. Everything begins with a 9 that looks like a fetus that is essentially the beginnings and the end, essentially, because the end result of the sperm meeting the egg is an ending, which is a new beginning. That I'd like to say also is that everybody is questioning religion today, and they're using it for a more practical purpose, because now the decoding that we began back 40 years ago, code breaking was the thing at the time, and that was preparing the mind for our young people to start looking at things differently. And that's what metaphysics is. Metaphysics is looking beyond the veneer of what we look at as results, as effects, and studying the language of cause. And that's the thing today. Young people, I'm so proud of you all, the ones who are actually looking at the world and not looking at the veneer, at the illusion, and you're looking for the substance, the essence, and that is cause. And that's what's going to actually begin a whole new dispensation. Looking past the effects, the lies, and the things that are being used to manipulate us, and to look past that and use the lens, the higher lens. And lastly, as I close out, there are 4 stages, and we are in the 3rd stage. The first stage is information, because that's what we've been absorbing. Information that stays dead is just information, because information has no life. Information that is used and utilized turns into knowledge. It becomes dynamic. Knowledge, once perfected and honed, becomes wisdom. Wisdom, once perfected and understood, taught, and remaining conscious and humble, turns into enlightenment. So from information to knowledge, knowledge to wisdom, and wisdom to enlightenment. We are at the stage of wisdom at this point, enlightenment to come.
Love it, Doc. Love it. Billy, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, well, you started off talking about the 9, and in vortex mathematics, 9 is seen as a point of infinity, but also a point of reset on a galactic scale, on the universal scale.
Yes, sir.
It's a point of reset, and I recently went through a reset. For those of probably some of y'all know or don't know, I recently had a near-death experience. Going back to September when I went to Turkey. I got very ill. I got somehow in one of those caves somewhere, I got some bacteria in my lungs. The bacteria sprouted and it grew like wildfire. Ended up being way out in the middle of Sanlurfa, out in the country of Turkey. It was very hard because I started losing a lot of weight, lost 22 pounds in just a couple of weeks, couldn't eat, got extremely sick, couldn't breathe, and thought I just had a regular cold, thought I would just. And during this process, I remember, shout out to King Simon. I had talked to King Simon right before we went to Turkey, and King Simon was warning me that you're heading into an area right now in time where right now it can go, a lot of good things are going to happen, but a lot of bad things can also happen. So you got to keep your head on the swivel. You got to be prepared. There's a lot coming at you, getting ready to come at you, right? This is right before I went to Turkey.
Wow.
I get sick. I get really ill to the point where I'm almost dying. My wife is literally trying to keep me alive. We make it back to America to get to a hospital because I didn't trust them over there. They didn't even know what a needle was. You were asking for a needle. They said they didn't have any. So we had to get out of there trying to get an insulin needle. But got back to America and they x-rayed my lungs, found out that I only had 25% oxygen transport. And
wow. Take your time, Billy. Take your time, brother. Take your time, brother.
I know that feeling, brother. I know that feeling.
This home here. I told you this home here, brother.
Yeah.
This home here, brother.
I dropped.
My body was going in septic shock.
Wow.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome back, brother.
Hey, Billy, you had a hell of an end of the year, man.
My wife literally kept me alive till I got to the hospital. She was the one who had enough things to just keep me going a few more days. She had some peptides. She had some prednisone just to keep my lungs open. But they admitted me in the hospital that first night there.